The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
The championship season has not long ended, especially for playoff final runners-up Middlesbrough. However, preparations for the new campaign will already be well underway. While Borough look to go one step further in 2026-27, Bristol City and Portsmouth will be eager to make notable progress. To do so, both sides must strengthen over the course of the summer transfer window. Now, a report from Team Talk has revealed the championship trio could go toe-to-toe for Rangers ace Callum Adamson. Middlesbrough, Bristol City and Portsmouth are reported to be among several sides eyeing the 18-year-old midfielder who has a year left on his contract. Rangers plan on keeping Adamson, but English clubs are lurking if an exit becomes a possibility, including Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Another loan is also possible with St Mirren and Kilmarnock. Adamson doesn't turn 19 until later this summer, so he's still very much in the formative years of his career. However, having impressed in the Rangers youth setup and now out on loan, the midfielder's stock is growing. The Scot is mainly a central midfielder, but can play in a variety of roles, be in deeper or more advanced areas, or out on the right. This versatility made Adamson a solid asset on loan with Alloa Athletic over the 2025-26 campaign. Despite his best efforts, Alloa's Scottish Championship promotion bid failed. Adamson chipped in with 3 goals and 5 assists in 31 games in an impressive maiden senior loan. As his contract winds down, Middlesbrough, Bristol City and Portsmouth will believe they can strike a cheap deal for a talented player who can develop into a potential star. Finally, Pompey have heavily focused on making gains in lesser-used markets to sign youngsters or players they feel are capable of stepping up. Adamson is a sensible target for this model given his potential and contract situation. Pompey are looking at the possibility of adding a German fixture to their pre-season preparations, as they put the finishing touches on their summer schedule. So far, a trip to Aldershot and a Pompey 11 match at Moneyfields are the only games confirmed, but there's a chance the Blues could head to Germany to face a Bundesliga 2 side, which would round out their friendly programme. With the new season kicking off with the Carabao Cup on August 8, Pompey are keen to step up the quality of their opposition in the build-up. The biggest question mark hangs over the final friendly, penciled in for Saturday, August 1. Chief Executive Andy Cullen revealed last month that a game is planned for that date, but its location hinges on the state of the new pitch at Fratton Park. Following the end of last season, the club began a £1.5 million project to install a hybrid playing surface and improved drainage. While the work is expected to be finished before the end of July, a contingency plan is in place. The Blues have penciled in both a home and an away friendly for that final Saturday, just in case. That potential away fixture could be the trip to Germany, a prospect that would no doubt go down a treat with the Fratton faithful. A game on foreign soil would be a return to an old tradition. John Mazzino has long preferred not to play a match during the team's week-long training camps, meaning the last friendly on a pre-season tour was back in July 2023. On that occasion, a Colby Bishop penalty secured a 1-0 win against Gibraltar side Europa FC in Malaga, Spain, with Thomas Waddingham's late goal securing the win in front of a crowd of 8,237.
Pompey's possible plans for pre-season activity are being drip-fed to us. We've got a couple of little minor friendlies, as it were, no offence to the local sides, pretty much lined up. But now there's this rumour, and this is ahead of any details being issued regarding the training camp, where they're going and how long for. There's the possibility that Pompey are going to arrange a friendly against a German second division side, effectively, as we are a second division side, in Germany. And I'm afraid, I know there's been a heat wave, and I suffered from dehydration just like you did. I got a bit of prickly heat. I even had a heat rash. And I picked up a bit of a headache, possibly because of dehydration and possibly because I spent too long in the sun one day. But I still should be able to see the sense in going to Germany, because everything that Pompey have done since John Mazzino has arrived is sensible and it's thought through. And there's a clear reason for the strategy, whatever it is. Okay, sometimes he makes spontaneous decisions about team selection or suggests that he does. But I don't think there's very much spontaneous about his forward planning, his future proofing, they call it. And if they're thinking of going to Germany to play a game, then they're thinking of going to Germany to play a game. And the editorial on this is that the Fratton faithful will be delighted. I mean, wouldn't it be better if we can't play on our pitch because it's still being relayed? Wouldn't it be better from everybody's point of view if we played somebody a bit closer to home? Do players like travelling that much? They like flying? Is there something psychological going on? If you're flying to your game, it makes you seem American. You know, like a gridiron side, they fly everywhere, don't they? Or it just makes you feel more important if you're flying off to play a game. It's a friendly, remember? Is John Messino saying that he thinks he can trust a German team to play fair and square, whereas there are other places where you could play a friendly and get lumps kicked out of you? Maybe he is. Maybe that is his view. Anyway, hasn't been confirmed yet, so we'll wait and see, as we will wait and see what other friendlies we have and wait and see where the training camp they're going to this summer is located. The FA have issued fines for Birmingham and for Portsmouth for what is constantly described as a fracas on that last day of the season game. The report is very disappointing throughout. I've made myself read it. It's very long and it gets a lot of things wrong. It's long and wrong. For example, the referee's report.
In his extraordinary incident report dated the 3rd of May 2026, the referee stated that in the 80th minute of the match, players from both teams had engaged in a mass confrontation after a Portsmouth player had tried to score a goal when the accepted practice was to return the ball to Birmingham. The incident. He also noted that a Portsmouth supporter had made his way onto the pitch to contribute to the mass confrontation.
That's all we appear to hear from the referee who booked Seggs, presumably for what he did. I don't think Seggs pushed anybody. He just tried to avoid being pushed and shoved himself. But for the referee to say that the confrontation took place after a Portsmouth player had tried to score a goal when the accepted practice was to return the ball to Birmingham, well, we did. We threw the ball back to their right back, who then froze. The ball is now in play. The guy has possession. Seggs is 10, 15 yards away from him. The ball is 2 or 3 yards from the player. He's got the ball. The ball is in play. The game is on. I'm absolutely certain that Seggs did nothing wrong. Their defenders, between them, the right back and their goalkeeper, cocked up. So we end up getting fined for coming to the rescue of a 5'6" player who's surrounded by, the Birmingham goalkeeper's 6'7", and he's having a pop, getting in his face. So that's the first flaw, FLAW, that you come across in this report, in my view. Then you get page after page of weasel words from Birmingham players and staff along these lines. I'll just give you the one.
Bright Asay Samuel, BOS, the Birmingham right-back in the match, stated that he had gone over to AS because he had wanted to ask him why he had done what he did. There had been a brief altercation. His teammate Phil Neumann, PN, had come over and separated the two of them in order to prevent matters from escalating. BOS had then been confronted by a number of Portsmouth players and a substitute. A number of his teammates had tried to defuse the situation, which had become more inflamed after members of the Portsmouth bench had entered the pitch. BOS accepted that he had behaved emotionally in response to what he termed deliberately unsportsmanlike behaviour, but expressed the view that the actions of his teammates had been aimed at ensuring that the incident did not escalate further.
OK, so that's Bright Asay Samuel, what he had to say for himself. He, I think, was the Birmingham player who had failed to take ownership of the ball when it was effectively sent to him purposely by Portsmouth. They took the throw-in and they gave it to him. You go backwards, as far as the other team are concerned, when you give them possession. You don't want to give them possession high up the field. So the throw-in wasn't thrown directly to him, but it was thrown for him to collect in the vicinity of where he was standing. All he had to do was take a few paces to one side and there wasn't anybody else anywhere near the ball besides himself. But I think he kind of hoped, do you remember? I think he kind of hoped that the ball could run harmlessly back to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper himself thought that maybe that's what BOS, as he's referred to henceforth in this report. And I think the two of them didn't really want the ball, would rather just stand around. And therefore, in my view, Suggs was completely within his rights. The ball had become live. The game was on. Birmingham weren't playing football. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they just needed to wake their ideas up. But where I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt is that Bright Osei-Samuel has presumably been coached in his statement, which was a written statement that was read to the panel, the investigating panel. He then said he had gone over to AS because he had wanted to ask him why he had done what he did. Well, we've all seen the incident. We were either there or we've seen it repeatedly on television. He did not go up to Seggs and politely ask him why he'd done what he did. He went at him. He gave him grief. We don't know exactly what was said, but it was not in the manner, style or tone of a person requesting information, asking for some feedback. That wasn't it at all. And the goalkeeper was of the same mind. The goalkeeper wanted to remonstrate. These two guys have just embarrassed themselves by failing to take responsibility for possession of the football, which had been given to them by Pompey. And they were both embarrassed by that. And in order to camouflage their own failings in this incident, they had a screaming match at Seggs. Seggs was pushed and shoved by these two big guys. And of course that incenses Portsmouth. Then we get reams of stuff in the report about how what Birmingham tried to do was to defuse the situation. Yeah, they just wanted everybody to calm down. So they grabbed players in blue shirts and pushed them and shoved them. And footballers are going to shove back. They should have stayed away from it. The ball didn't go in the net. They should have taken a goal kick and got on with it. Have a quiet word with Seggs perhaps during the game in the next 5 minutes. What did you do that for, mate? And Seggs would have said, what did I do what for? What didn't you do? What you didn't do? Why didn't you do something? You've got the ball. The game is on. The ball is live. And we get reams of Birmingham staff and players coming out with this in this report. But it doesn't completely fool the panel because they fined Birmingham £80,000 and Pompey just, I think it's the bare minimum for an incident like this, £50,000. So in other words, Birmingham were worse behaved than Pompey. But this report, this attempt by Birmingham to weasel words, to use weasel words in order to avoid culpability and admit that they cocked up when the ball was given to them, and then they cocked up again by getting far too aggressive with a solitary Pompey player. He was surrounded at one point by about 6 or 8 or 10 Birmingham players. What are you going to do? OK, the subs shouldn't have come on. Spectator definitely shouldn't have come on. We're going to have to watch a little bit of our crowd behaviour from time to time. We can take a wee fine, but we don't want points deducted, and that can happen.